someone who is actually innocent, like Brendan Dassey. When you have an innocent person sentenced to life behind prison, that's exactly the situation that the clemency power was tailor-made to address. This is a case that federal judges have called a profound miscarriage of justice, and we're calling on Governor Evers to remedy that injustice today.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
I'm a little slow.
That's okay. I'm still waking up, kind of. I want to say I am so sorry, everybody.
We forgive you. You work hard. You need your sleep. Don't even worry about it. You're here, right?
Yeah, I'm here. I couldn't sleep last night, and then when I finally did get to sleep, I guess I just really
went out.
Exhausted.
Yeah, you need your sleep. So anyway,
yeah.
Well, glad to see you. Glad you're woke up.
Yeah, and then hold on. Let me do something real quick here.
Hello, everybody out there. Let me see. We got Mose. Hey, Mose. Maggie, Rhonda, Carol. Jinxie was peeking in, but
yeah,
probably a peek in a little later too. I hope you all are doing good today. Remember, it's 9/11.
Yeah. Okay, hold on.
We got two Beccas.
Yeah. I'm trying to do something real quick. So okay, there's three things happening today. That I wanted to kind of
Steven.
Yep, Steven's first wrongful conviction today is technically hold on, let me try this again.
His taste of freedom, right?
Yeah, he his first wrongful conviction was overturned today. About what was it, almost 18 years ago?
Yeah.
So almost that was pretty. Yeah.
That's 21 years today.
Yep, that's pretty awful that he only had like 3 years, and then now
barely 3 years though, right? Because I mean, like 2 years and almost, and then they put him in jail and held him for all that time.
Yep. So
it's so sad.
Yeah,
it's got to be the most sad. It really, honestly, to me, it's got to be the worst thing I've ever heard of. Honestly, I mean, outside of like the tragedies of the world, but I mean, to one person, it's terrible.
Right. That's what I was. I don't. A lot of people don't recognize today as that, but I do, because it shows that there's hope for him still.
Right. But it also is like, it does work. The system will work, but it took them 18 years, and now we're going on 17. So, I mean, it's, the justice system better wake up. I mean, I like Jinxie said, twice, I mean, it really shows that you've got to see the injustice in a man being convicted twice wrongfully,
Right. Yeah. So I want to apologize also, because I made a video and then I set it as a premiere for this morning. I was sleeping and I noticed that part of the sound was off, and I don't know why. So I do apologize to everybody. I'm hoping to download it. I'm having it load actually right now on the StreamYard. So try to play through here and see. Really? I didn't. Maybe
I didn't notice that. And I just watched it. Was it the news part or something? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it was a line that was then making a murder, and they don't want you to have that. They'll take the volume out of it. You know what I mean? They'll take the audio out of it.
Maybe that's what I was thinking. Honestly, it was that they must have. But I mean, that's fine. I felt bad because I was like, oh dang, like I
I liked it.
You know, I made.
I didn't see anything wrong. I must not really pay attention.
Well,
I didn't notice anything wrong with it. I thought it was a really nice thing for you to do, because even in our big groups, nobody's doing that for Stephen. It's good that you remember the day he was free for a while, you know, that it did work good for him then, you know. I think that's very nice of you.
Well, I do it. I try to do it every year because ever since I got on YouTube, because I'm like, nobody talks about it, but I think we should.
Oh yeah, we talked about this exact conversation last time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh,
exactly.
You reminded me. I didn't even remember, you know. And then I said to you then, like I'm going to say to you again, I shouldn't forget this. It's on 9/11 when we had, you know, the world change. I mean, duh, you know. Oh, wow.
Right. Well, that's the only reason why I remember it, to be honest with you. So, I mean, but all right. So that's the other thing. Maybe, yeah.
You know,
well, I was a kid when it happened, so it was pretty profound for me as a child, you know. But as an adult, I don't know. It would be probably more scarier, you know. But,
I remember my children were in New Jersey, and I was scared to death for them. I was in Minnesota, and I was like, I had to call my kids.
Yeah, see, so it was a different scenario for you than for me. I was just a kid in school. Yeah, I was just a kid.
That's even scarier, Becca. Sorry.
I was in Arizona, so it wasn't like, you know what I mean?
It wasn't on your part of the world, and you really don't have anything political there. I guess we feel the same way here in Minnesota. I mean, we're closer, but we really don't have anything like the Pentagon or, you know, anything like that to worry about. Yeah.
Right.
And, you know, this has really been a sad week. I mean, the UK loses their queen that they've known all their life. My mom and me were talking about that. Like, she's been the queen of 3 countries for how long, you know? So that's a big change. Then, you know, 9/11, Stephen. Oh, there's a lot that went on this week.
Yeah. So that's what I was also going to say is I know the queen is doing something, not doing something, but they're doing something today for the queen. And Alice made a comment that she may not be here because she's watching it. So, and I completely understand that. If everybody who is a UK person wants to watch that over this, I completely understand.
100%.
You know,
and
so, but my heart.
Yeah. Say it for me.
My heart goes out to you guys. And hey, Alice, the link is in the chat, and I'll post again if anybody does want to come up and talk, you know.
Yeah, I want to give
it's the same.
Oh, go ahead, Beck. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I want to tell all my UK friends and people, you know, I'm very sorry for your loss. I hope that your country will be, you know, okay with your new king. And, you know, I just wish you the best. I'm very sorry for your loss. America feels it too.
Yeah.
Not like them, but, you know, we.
Well, you know, it's, we feel for you guys.
Dramatic changes in their worlds, you know.
Hi, ladies.
Hi, honey.
Hey.
How are you doing?
How you doing, Alice?
Yeah, okay. It's a bit of a somber kind of moment. She travelled from Balmoral today, so she's now at her last resting place in Scotland at Holyrood Palace until tomorrow, and then she's going to St Giles Cathedral and she's going to lie in state there until Tuesday morning, I think, or it's Tuesday afternoon, and then she's going to fly from Scotland to England. So it's a big moment for us in Scotland at the moment. You know, as you were saying, Linda, she's been our queen since she was 25 years old.
All of our lives.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom said that. My mom goes, my whole life she's been the queen.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's been the head of state of, I think it's 14 different realms, you know, and then 50 Commonwealth countries. So, I mean, she's done us proud. She really has. And King Charles has got a big set of shoes to fill.
Yeah.
But he's also learned from the best, you know.
That's what I was saying. He's been raised to, you know, to be a king. So hopefully he will continue what his mother has done for him, you know, or done for your country.
Yeah,
that's true.
I'd love to see William. I think he would do really good, but you know, I don't know. You know, I don't live, but I think William resembles his mama.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
No,
but after 3 years, Charles could pass the reign on to William. But as I says, I don't think that's going to happen. Charles has been preparing for this for his whole life.
Yeah.
You know.
Same with William.
He's 73. So he's been training for it for his whole life. So I mean, the only thing I'm not happy about is Camilla being called.
I think that's everybody's feeling on.
Yeah. Because they'll say the king and queen, a lot of outlets and things without saying queen consort.
Yeah,
you know, and that's
the king and I guess the queen.
Yeah. I'm sure y'all would have loved to have had Diana as a, you know, his wife, and that's why I think William, you know, he has a lot of his mom's heart. And, you know, I think he would do your country right. But I pray that Charles has been, you know, raised the right way to do your country proud, you know? That's all I pray for. You guys don't have major changes in your countries.
Well, that's it. I mean, we're never going to have another queen now. Yeah, you know, she is the last.
Well, that you guys know.
Queen.
Well, no,
she's the last foresee. Oh, but I mean, like William, and then he has his kid and his kids, but we don't know what his kids could have. So I'm saying, as of right now, there's no more queens.
And there's so many twice removed.
No, because it's Charles. Yeah, it's Charles now. Then it falls to William when Charles passes away,
and then it falls.
And then after William, it's George. And then after George, if something happens to George, that's William's son.
Oh, duh. I'm sorry.
And now they have made a new thing that if anything was to happen to George, then Charlotte would become
the queen.
King. It would become queen. And then it would. So that's how it goes, you know. That's how the reign goes. But if George has any kids, it won't go to Charlotte. It will go to George's heir.
His kids.
You know, I can only pray like that they were all raised to be kings or queens. That's the way they've been raised.
Right.
Raised that way. So hopefully he follows you know, his mother's footsteps. I mean, she was a good queen for all them years, right? I mean, she was good for your countries. So I'm just hoping that Charles does the same. And I'm sure, like, you know, this has been his whole life, raised to be this. So, you know, we don't have presidents that are raised to be president. So I wish we did.
That you know of.
Yeah, that we know of. That's true. We got so much conspiracy here, Becca. But your countries, I pray for them to stay the same and that there's no major changes that you people feel. And my condolences goes for your country. It really does. I really feel.
I'm joking.
Thank you. I mean, it's all tradition, you know what I mean? It's all based on tradition, 1,000 years worth of tradition You know, and that's what she represented to Scotland and that as well as the thousands of years, because I know that there's going to be people out there that have seen the proclamations and everything like that that was happening. And it was like what they did in the old days, except use microphones instead of the hear ye, you know, declaring that Charles is the king now and everything like that. And you had some people that was there that protested and booed when they all said, God save the king. I mean, not all of Scotland like the monarchy or the royals, you know.
You're right.
And that's fair enough. I mean, that's up to them. But when it comes to something like this, especially the Queen, the disrespect that I have seen from my own country and from other people in different countries has been ridiculous. I mean, somebody had the gall to even compare the Queen to Amber fucking Heard.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Sorry. How disrespectful. Let's put it this way. Your country
Chateau Bunny, her name was on Twitter, and she's an Amber fan.
Oh my
and she put up, well, what is it? She's an old lady who's just died of old age. Amber Heard has been through a hell of a lot more than what the Queen has went through. I was like,
oh my Lord.
Fucking kidding me, you know what I mean? And my blood has been boiling since I've read that, Linda. You know what I mean? But not only that, I don't know if you've heard of her. She's an NBC reporter, and she's called Kat Tenbarge or something like that.
I've never heard of it.
She jumped on the bandwagon of that Chateau Bunny.
You're kidding me.
No,
fire her.
She jumped on that bandwagon as well, and she should know better. You know what I mean?
Lord, I can't even believe that. I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed for that person. I'm embarrassed myself because your country has, or the Queen has run everything on tradition. And I think it is wonderful that you can follow that for that many years and decades and be as independent and strong as the countries have been for you from having a queen. And for somebody to disrespect somebody who has done all that with an Amber Heard comparison, that's despicable. I'm so sorry.
Exactly. That's what I thought, Linda. That's exactly what I thought. And I mean, as I say, I know there's people that don't like the royals and everything like that. That's fair enough. But on something like this is so important and somber and heartbreaking, you know.
Somebody just did this. It's like spitting in your face, if you ask me.
Be respectful. Say sorry, but don't compare her to a liar and a cheat and dishonest person that has ever walked this planet. You know what I mean? Amber Heard never fought in World War II. You know what I mean? Amber Heard hasn't ran a nation and realms and everything like that since she was 25 years old.
Act. Let's get real.
You know,
barely knows how to conduct herself in public. Let's get real. The Queen would never be seen doing anything that woman has ever done. She would never even think of it. How disgraceful. I'm so sorry.
You can imagine what my reaction. You can imagine what my reaction was like when I read that. You know, so my blood's still boiling a wee bit about it. It's like, how dare you, above everything, though, above being a royal or anything like that. She was they are a family. You know what I mean? She was a grandmother. She was a mother. She was a sister. She was an aunt. You know what I mean? And they have just lost the matriarch of their family, just like any other person's family who lose their mum or their dad. You know what I mean? Or their grandmother that is like the matriarch that holds them all together. I mean, that's the way I see it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they are just a family like the rest of us. Except, they've got a bit of privilege and everything like that, but they're still a family nonetheless.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, they're real people. They're real humans, you know, going through a real thing. So my heart goes out to them, you know, being as I'm not from that area, I don't understand, you know,
Yeah, yeah. No, that's, I
Um,
mean,
the
I appreciate,
totality of it, but like,
yeah,
at the end of the day, she's still a person with a family that loved her, and
yeah,
no matter
exactly.
what age, a loss is a loss. So that's why when people are like, oh, well, she was old, like, what does that have to do with a loss? Like, it's still a loss. Like, that's a weird thing to
Yeah,
say, but whatever.
yeah, yeah. But no, thank you
um,
very much for your thoughts and your kind words. It's very much appreciated.
yeah, of course, hopefully, like we've been saying, hopefully Charles does a good job, and yeah, I don't know exactly what all a king and queen does in England these days, but I'm sure he'll do a great job and make his mom proud and make the rest of your country proud, um and
We can
I
only
can't yeah, I can't wait to see, not to be mean about it, whether Charles dies or he passes it on to his son William, but I am excited to see that, and I'm excited to see what comes of George even like in my lifetime. So it'll be interesting, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, I wish him all the luck. I do wish him all the luck, but I
Right.
just don't like him and Camilla for what they did to Diana. I just don't,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I never
A lot
have
of us.
forgiven them for what they did to Diana. But he is our king now, so
Right.
I'll give him that respect. But I don't have to like it, you know what I mean? And
Right.
I will never call Camilla queen, queen's consort or not. I will never use those words for Camilla because in my eyes, she is not a queen and she never
Right.
will be.
No, she
So,
will
but
never.
that's just my opinion and my thoughts. So,
Did you know? Here's a fun fact. When Queen of England, when Elizabeth married Charles, not Charles, Philip. When she married Philip, a lot of people didn't want her to do that because he was um in a German family.
that's right. Yeah.
And a lot of people, that's when they decided to do the consort, king consort or queen consort, because they were scared that Philip would do something and then become the actual king.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's absolutely right, Becca.
And now, and
That's
I'm just pointing out that back then people weren't a big fan of Philip, but now they admire him. So you never know
yeah,
what Camilla can do.
yeah. It doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter what she does. She was involved in their marriage when she had no right to be involved in that marriage. And
Yeah,
as
no,
far
I
as I'm
agree.
concerned, if she wasn't involved in that marriage, then Diana might still have been here and Diana might be still be in her place. So, and a lot of us feel like that.
Yeah.
But as I said, I will give him his respect. I will call him King Charles, but I just won't be calling her Queen Camilla because she ain't no queen, consort or not.
My
Yeah.
mom says to tell you she's very sorry that somebody would be so disrespectful as to compare the queen to Amber Heard. My mother's like,
Oh,
my mother's in there just having a fit about it. She says, we have bloodlines to England, so, and she brings out
yeah,
her ancestry and shows me, and she says that she goes, that's a proud country. They're proud of their queen. And for somebody in America to say that the lady that was involved with the Johnny Depp thing, she said that should never be allowed to be publicized.
yeah.
Yeah.
Taylor, thank you very much, and it is
Yeah,
very much appreciated.
yeah,
I love your mom. She's so sweet.
she is. She's a sweet lady.
All
She's
right.
got a lot of heart. But let's get on with our
I
thing because
was gonna say, let's get on and get some of this done. The video isn't gonna load because my computer is overloaded with internet, but it's okay. If you guys want to check out the video I posted, um, it's on the page. Anyway, let's see. Where was I? I think I ended it around here. So, okay, we're talking to Dr. Richard Leo. The last time we talked, he was breaking down different kinds of confessions and the process to it and the steps to it and all that stuff. So let's see. The question is, what is the significance of this post-admission narrative phase? So post-admission narrative phase is the final phase where interrogators ideally elicit the details about how and why the suspect committed the crime, because the confession is not just the admission, I did it. The confession is a narrative and how and why a suspect did the crime. So then his question is, what is the significance of the post-admission narrative phase? And then this is where we stopped last time, so we'll pick up here. Well, there's several things that are significant about it. First, it's significant to law enforcement because they hold back information and they do it right. They can get the suspect to either verify his or her inside or non-public knowledge about the crime and objectively demonstrate if the suspect did commit the crime or is confessing truthfully, that they know details that could not have been guessed by chance, that are not publicly revealed, and that almost certainly only the true perpetrator would know, absent any contamination if they do it right. So that's one aspect that's significant. The other way of making confessions bulletproof, and police are trained on holding back principles and how to elect good, corroborated, non-contaminated, proper confessions to establish the reliable. Of course, police investigators are interested in separating the innocent from the guilty, and so it can also be used to test whether or not using the same exact principles the person possesses. That kind of knowledge. In other words, whether the confession contains indicate of unreliability, and so that's the obvious other side of the coin. Significance for law enforcement. For researchers, it's also significant because it allows us to evaluate whether or not using the same principles that law enforcement use, whether or not it fits with not only the suspect possessing non-public unique knowledge not likely guessed by chance, and whether it contains indication of reliability, but also whether it contains indicate of unreliability. And so we see patterns in post-admission narrative in false confession cases, and a proven false confession cases doesn't fit the facts. Suspect doesn't know non-public detail, contaminated by police, can't lead to new or missing evidence, can't explain abnormalities, etc., etc. So then Strizzen asks, you mentioned the word contamination. Since you mentioned it now, what do you mean when you say contamination, Dr. Leo? And he says, what we mean by contamination is that the police interrogators, well, there's multiple sources of contamination, but let's just talk about the police interrogation first for a second. In the context of an interrogation, the interrogator has provided the suspect with unique or non-public crime details or facts, or crime scene details that are given back in the confession or post-admission narrative. Does anybody know right off the bat anything that could be considered a contamination that the police gave Brendan during his confession? Anybody?
Absolutely.
Anybody?
I do.
Yes.
They told
Linda.
him who shot her in the head.
That's right. Good job, Linda.
Yo, hey, I got it right.
No, round of applause for Linda. Yes, that's one of the things that they told him in his confession. That's actually one of the most obvious ones, is who shot her in the head, Brendan? Tell me who shot her in the head. There's other things actually, if you pick up on during his interrogation, that are contaminated.
The garage thing.
The garage, yep.
The fire.
The hood latch.
Yep. Yeah.
going under the hood. Did he go under the
Yep.
hood at all,
Did you?
Brendan?
Yep. Exactly. I was gonna say going under the hood.
Mhm. Did yeah. So there's a bunch of things that they actually but the who shot her in the head is the big one. It's the big obvious, like, that's a detail that nobody should have known other than the killer is, you know, her cause of death. And yeah. So they've educated or fed the suspect with these unique non-public case facts, which we could all argue also, by the way, that they were doing it from the first interview all the way up to March 1st. Every interview, they give him some little detail. The fire, burning of the clothes. Did you see any body parts? Where was the crime scene? Where's the car? What did you do with the car? Like all this stuff, and then leading up to March 1st, and then they
put it all together.
Yeah, put it all together for us.
And they really didn't either. You know what I mean? They took you know what I mean? It was like March 1st was the kicker of it because of who shot her in the head thing. Okay. But all the leading up, each story of his changed completely each time.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they even got a straight. I still can't figure out how they got a straight confession. There's no way that would pass.
Well, that's also why
there's situations.
That's also why there's a lot of jumping around for Brendan in his confession, where there's like 20 different ways that they murdered her.
Exactly.
You know, because he was just guessing and he didn't know what they wanted, and because even though they were feeding him small details throughout each confession up to the March 1st one, he still was guessing.
Yep, he was guessing. And guessing's not confessing.
Nope, guessing is not confessing.
Oh, geez,
what? All right.
Oh, geez, my mom
goodness.
scared the hell out of me. Sorry.
Pepper.
No, my mother scared the hell out of me. Just a second.
Oh. Hi, Mom. All right. One might be the media, of course. If crime facts have been reported, they're no longer non-public, which, all right, I'm going to pause here again and say a lot of what was happening with Teresa's case and what was happening with Stephen's case was all over the media at the time. That's the way Brendan was able to see a lot of it. And plus the fact you have his uncle, you know, being a main member of his family who he lived next to, who he hung out with a lot, and all his other family, you know, uncles, grandparents, mom, brothers, everybody was talking about it. So that's also considered contamination, because anything that could happen to Stephen, you know, he's going to tell the rest of his family. So Brendan already has details of things that even the police may not have given him. He still can get picked up from the news. Like I remember O'Kelly when he was being interviewed by O'Kelly, and he said, yeah, the Rev was over in this area. And he's like, well, how do you know that? Did you put it there? And he was like, I saw it on the news.
Yeah, exactly, Becca. Exactly. But not only that, you've got Stephen who knows and has got the sense that they're coming for him again. You know what I mean? So he's hearing the conversations that are going on between his gran, his grandpa, his mum, uncles, you know, because that's where he got the story that Stephen was going mental. And they're like, why was Stephen going mental? And he's like, because he was saying that they were coming to get him, or that he maybe just wanted to go back into jail. You know what I mean? That is conversations. Maybe somebody in the family has even questioned, you know, fuck, could Stephen have actually done this? Well, but why would he do that? Or maybe he just wants to go back to jail. You know what I mean? That could have been a conversation that's happened in his vicinity. And that is one of the things that's jumped into that Wayne's head when they're hounding him with questions left, right, and centre.
Right. I guarantee you he heard a lot of those, because even in the first interview he had when he was sitting in the back of the car, And it was almost like he was asking himself, but he was asking them, did he really rape her? That tells me that they were talking about that in the family, and he was exposed to listening to that. And whether or not they knew it or not, maybe he was hiding in the back somewhere, but those questions were even coming to his head, like, oh my gosh, they said that maybe he raped this person, maybe he did.
Yeah, but because it's coming from more people of authority, Rebecca,
Yeah.
that he's probably thought it more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That if the people that are in authority are saying this, maybe he actually did. So it was the Wayne had no chance when it came to the two experienced investigators in the read technique. He had no chance.
Yeah. No, he had no chance sitting in there. All right. Another would be overheard. Oh, see here. Another would be overheard communications or community gossip. So that's from his family. His community is his family. And also, this is a kid that's going to high school. And I don't know if people remember high school, but people talk all the time. And like, if somebody saw his uncle on the news, they're like, oh my God, that's that kid's Brendan's uncle. He raped and murdered this chick. And then everybody starts talking about it in school. And,
Exactly.
that's just the nature. Yeah, that's just the nature of how that stuff goes. So Brendan was possibly exposed to that too.
Yeah, definitely. Guaranteed. No ifs, maybes, or buts, Becca. It's a guarantee. Because Stephen would have seen them fucking coming for him right away. Even the family would have seen them coming for him right away. You know what I mean? So the conversations that would have been ruined that way, and probably not meaning to ruin Brendan, but they're all just panicking and worried because the cops are coming after Stephen and the family again. The amount of things that Brendan would have heard is unbelievable, and it's a guaranteed he's heard these kind of things, you know what I mean? Oh, for fuck's sake, they're coming for me again and everything like that, and then if Stephen's not been there in conversations, it could have been other family members that have been, well, do you think he done it? I don't know if he done it. He might have done it. You know what I mean? You're guaranteed, because the questions and sort of things go on in a family unit. No matter who the finger is being pointed at, you know what I mean? And I'm not just meaning Stephen, I'm meaning anybody.
I agree. So let's see. So the question is, when you're assessing the reliability of a confession, Dr. Leo, have you sort of ruled out whether or not there are any sources of contamination? Correct, he says. Okay. Now, you talked earlier about two different kinds of psychological coercion. Do you remember that? And he says yes. Now, when you analyze the interrogations, okay, what is your process for determining whether or not an interrogation contains psychological coercive tactics? Well, what I do is I want to review the interrogation itself, and a critical issue is whether or not the interrogation is recorded. And if the interrogation is fully recorded, it is increasingly common across the country when I will watch or listen to, although these days it's mostly watched, the interrogation, usually with a transcript, and evaluate the techniques that are used, whether or not first, those techniques and any of those techniques are inherently coercive, like the ones I mentioned earlier. And then secondly, evaluate whether or not in the totality of the interrogation, it appears to me that the person's will is overborne, is one way of putting it. But really, a better way of putting it is that they are motivated to comply and ultimately confess because they're broken down and perceive they have no choice. And relative to that kind of analysis, there might be other case materials that are helpful, including interviews with the suspect, if the clinical psychologist is interviewed, or psychiatric, and produce a report There may be situations where I interview a defendant, although I'm not likely to do that if there's a fully recorded interrogation. There are times when there are multiple interrogations or interviews by third parties of a defendant where they will state things that their state of mind or what they are thinking or feeling or perceiving during the interrogation that might be relevant for that analysis as well. So the question, have scholars from the field of police interrogations and confessions found that certain techniques increase the risk of unreliable confessions? Yes. Which techniques are those? Well, promises, threats, whether inflicted or explicted. Sometimes these are referred to as minimalization techniques, techniques that are minimize a suspect's culpability. Scholars have also written about deception, lies about evidence, primarily which are thought to, when misapplied to an innocent suspect, also rise the risk of false confessions. There are other factors that really go into the interrogation, like length of interrogation, but not particularly techniques. Okay, you talked about particular techniques. Have these techniques been consistently observed in observational studies, laboratory studies, and actual cases of false confessions? Yes. Now, last question I want to ask you is, besides the effects of interrogation tactics on unreliable confessions, there are also internal or personality-related factors that increase the risk of false confessions. Yes. What are those? There are certain groups of individuals who have a cluster of these techniques. People with low IQ or mentally retarded, juveniles, and sometimes people who are mentally ill. These techniques have to do essentially with making someone's personality more weak or vulnerable to persuasion. Low intelligence, high suggestibility, high compliance. Suggestibility refers to the extent to which we accept a message that someone is telling us and then repeat it back. Compliance is really obedience to authority, and there's traits related to that that make certain people more suggestible, more compliant. Low self-esteem, aversion to conflict, poor memory, and there are others. And so individuals from the groups that I mentioned who tend to manifest these techniques, as well as normal individuals who are not mentally retarded or low IQ or juveniles or mentally ill, sometimes manifest these personality traits as well. High compliance, high suggestibility, etc. So I think we could pause here and say that Brendan fit a lot of those.
Everyone,
Yeah.
Becca. He
Except
fit
for
everyone.
The only one that I could see that he is not mentally ill and he's technically not considered mentally retarded. But as far as
suggestibility,
suggestibility, low IQ, juvenile.
Yeah, exactly. Easily coerced. You know what I mean? Poor memory, because he couldn't remember the things that they'd fucking said to him before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Brendan, every time you were reading that, I was going, Brendan. You know what I mean? It's like he's wrote this. I know he's done it for Brendan, but you know what I mean? It's just unbelievable that these mofos got away with what they got away with.
Yeah. Well, they knew exactly what they were doing to the right person to do it to, and they got what they wanted. You know? In simple terms, that's basically it. They knew exactly what they were doing to the right person to do it to.
Yep, they didn't care. At all costs. It didn't matter. Didn't matter if that was a 16-year-old kid they took out of school. Didn't matter that they kept the kid away from his family or any proper legal advice or legal assistance. It didn't matter that he had a language disability. In fact, they used that to get him. So they're evil.
Yeah. So in here, it looks like, Judge, at this time, we're about to launch into his analysis of Brendan Dassey's interrogation. I'm going to be using a tape machine. Would this be a good time to take a lunch break? And the court said, it would, indeed. Thank you. Back at 1. So they stopped at 12, and then they reconvened at 1. All right, Mr. Drizzen, proceed. Dr. Leo and counsel and the court, for the purposes of the rest of this examination, I think it would be helpful if you looked at Exhibit 316. I'm sorry, 315. I apologize. 315. Dr. Leo, I want you to look at Exhibit 3 as well. Your affidavit, you have a Volume 1 binder. Correct. Copy of various transcripts. It's the copy of clips for various transcripts from the various interrogations in this case. That's my knowledge I do. But one of the reasons I'm saying it's the most difficult for court reporter to, yeah, that's right. If they're foundation question, I want to revisit your status of that rule. Then they talk some more. Okay, in all circumstances. All right. Second. Oh, 1 second, Tom. I'm sorry. There's one exception to that. That would be the transcript of Mr. O'Kelly's, which was not obviously known to the police. To let Mr. authenticate. I know. Thurman says there was a minute floating around and still under the impression of comfortability. All right, thought this was under that. They're talking a lot about evidence. And then they had a recess. It is ordered that effectively January 1st, 2010, the Supreme Court rules are amended as follows. Of the Supreme Court, audio recordings of any type that are played during the proceeding marked as exhibit and offered into evidence. If only part of the recording is played in court, the part played shall be received identified in the record. Those seeking to admit at trial videotape, depositions, or other testimony presented by tape should consult Wisconsin state statute. There's some further comment that really doesn't have anything to do with that. I think the net effect of that is if the audio recording is appropriately marked, the transcript is shown to be appropriate transcript, the court reporter does not have to take it. So that's what they were arguing about. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip ahead. Apologies, but I think in light of this, that would be our preference that she try to take this down. Oh, so Steve Drizzen is now asking that the court reporter does take down when before he was saying she didn't have to because there's a transcript available. Okay, so Dr. Leo, I'd like to begin this afternoon by talking about your analysis of whether there are psychologically coercive interrogation tactics in the interrogations in Brendan Dassey's case. But before I do, let me ask you this. What were you provided with to review for your testimony and preparation of your testimony today? And he says, I was provided with multiple CDs and DVDs of Brendan Dassey's interrogation, February 27th, March 1st, and May 13th. And later, I believe, Mr. Kelly's DVDs of Mr. Kelly's interrogation of March 12th, 2006. And I just want to pause here and say all those are available if you guys want to watch them. I believe our channel has it, and then Mystic Jink channel has the complete full March 1st interrogation. So if you guys want to check out those interrogations, they're all very hard to watch, but they're very fascinating, interesting, and the uniqueness of his story and how it changes and how you can tell when they start feeding him certain details, and then by the next interview those details are included into his interrogation when originally they weren't to begin with, and like you can basically see the evolving of the false confession up till March 1st. But like I said, it is very hard for a lot of people to watch. Like Maz just said, it makes me so angry. So that's up to you guys, but they are available for you guys to watch.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, Becca. I haven't watched all of the interviews because what I've seen in Ma'am was enough to turn my stomach.
Yeah.
on what they were doing. But in saying that, I have read the transcripts of the trial and everything like that. So you can pick up on that exactly what was happening. But I will admit, I cannot bring myself to watch all of it. I can't. What they done to that Wayne is despicable. I mean, I seen, which I thought I'd seen before, but I forgot about it, is that Liger has moved from the chair that he was sitting on to the couch right beside Brendan, and he's got his hand on his shoulder, and he's tapping him on the shoulder, and I had the volume down, and that was enough, you know what I mean? And I'm like, you bastard, you know what I mean? You knew exactly what you were doing, getting up closer to that Wayne to make him feel more secure and everything like that, so that you could feed him with your lies.
Exactly. Yeah, I watched them. I was able to watch them, and I was still angry, but it wasn't, I don't know, I'm one of those people where I have to watch it, you know. I have to study it, I have to read it, I have to, and yeah, it was disturbing, it was sad, but I've watched it a few times because I'm trying to study them, to try to understand them, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I don't know how I do that in my brain, where I can turn it off like that and then just, you know, watch a train wreck happen, but it's just, I don't know, but
I wish I could do that, Becca, because if I was to sit and watch all of them, I would be so angry that I wouldn't be able to sleep. You know, so, because it would just go round and round and round in the brain. How could they do that to him? You know what I mean? That poor lad, with the respect that he was brought up to have for authority and everything like that. I sometimes so wish that he was just that wee bit more street smart, and maybe that wee bit more, not even cocky, but gallus, cocky is the same sort of word, you know, to think, you know, wait a minute, what are you doing? So you're accusing me, you know what I mean? No, I want my lawyer, you know,
right.
And it's just a shame. He thought he was helping. He thought he was like a lot of suspects. And I mean, even people that are fully comprehensive and everything like that and do know what's happening get trapped the same way as what Brendan did, you know? And I mean, I just think that it's a lot worse because of how they went about Brendan, and because Brendan was just a child at the time of it as well, you know, and it's awful.
It is, no, it bothers, it keeps me up at night, it definitely does. It's part of, you know, all of this stuff is part of reasons why I don't sleep well at night anymore. But you know, but you know, we all got it. This is how I feel like I'm helping in a way, you know, but
let's just put it this way. I feel the same way Alice does. When I found out that they lied to Brendan about his polygraph, I was literally in bed in tears for a whole week. Allie Apperson and Denise Rainey were constantly calling me, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot believe that they did that to him. That I just can't. I can't believe it. Think about it now. I actually it breaks me, because how could they lie to do that? You know, that's when it hit me that, I mean, I know they lied and they coerced him, but when I heard that, it hit me that they just didn't give a fuck, and they lied. They straight lied, and our justice system is not supposed to be that way. So it really disheartened me completely, you know. So watching the confessions are I just want to punch the screen. I want to go over to Uyghur's house and pull one last hair out of his bald ass head.
Yeah, exactly, Linda. Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, I think more so for me, because as I says, I haven't watched all of the interviews and that, but what I have seen on Mam and everything like that, and the clips that I've seen online and everything, I didn't need to watch the interviews from start to finish, because I could already, with what I've seen in Brendan's demeanour and everything like that, I could see as I'm reading the transcripts and that, I could see his posture, you know, I could see and hear how he's saying these things and how it's coming across and everything like that, with just the little bits that I'd seen already, because that's how he would have been from start to finish. A terrified little boy caught in the fucking headlights of two experienced detectives. And they should have known better. And I don't know how they sleep at night. And I'm surprised that their children haven't been on at them for what they done to Brendan. You know what I mean?
Money they wouldn't allow them to watch it. I bet you any money. And how do they sleep at night? Well, let's quote Kratz. I sleep fine in my bed every single night. That's what he said.
Yeah.
You know, that's sickening. Let's put it this way. It's the ones that are guilty of this are old and dying away. And I can't say that it's a loss for me. Okay. I don't, the ones that are still around, they don't have a conscience, because especially Uyghur and Fassbender, the reason being is they were in the rights of the law. What they did.
Yeah, they were.
It's the Reed technique, and they did not commit a crime or go against it. That's
everything
what it is.
They did was legal.
Yep. And that's what
makes it sick. Yeah,
yes.
That's exactly what makes it sick. Is everything that happened to Brendan Dassey is legal.
Yeah. Yeah, everything that was,
was it right? Was it morally right? No. Was it okay? No.
But they don't work on morals.
Fucked up? Yes. But O'Kelly was allowed within the law to sit with Brendan and to do the interrogation he did.
That's why we need these laws.
Not really, because he was the inexperienced investigator. He was a fucking lie detector expert.
But you know what I mean? He had permission from Brendan's lawyer, and Brendan, who was very naive and didn't understand anything that was going on, okayed it too.
Yeah. It's Nick TV says, here in Germany there are different laws, more protection of minors. What you did, what they did with Brendan, how you treated him would never have been permissible here, and without evidence they would never have convicted him. He had been convicted in his
in a lot of countries.
He says, I have to assume your laws, but it makes me extremely angry that such a large free country has such different laws, and that the dignity of it, the individual, is not preserved as it is here in Europe.
I agree 100%. Believe us, when we see how they protect their juveniles there, I am so envious. I wish, but I have to say, Brendan is a teacher and he has been making change. That's a good thing, but it would have never happened if we had these laws in place.
Yeah,
right.
No one would have to suffer, because it isn't just Brendan that suffers. It's Brendan's family. It's the community. It's all of us. It's the world. I mean, he has affected the world. What happened to Brendan affected the world. In my eyes.
Yeah, it did. It affected everybody. But yeah, no, it unfortunately, even what O'Kelly did was considered within, was somehow legal. I wish it wasn't. Like, I wish that O'Kelly could go to prison for the rest of his life for what he did to Brendan and to many other people. He's still out there doing shit, shady shit to other people, but he had permission from Brendan's lawyers. He had permission from even Brendan, who Brendan didn't understand what was happening.
O'Kelly should be hung in the middle of town and let everybody go and pull out one hair, stick one pin in him, torture him. I mean, O'Kelly to me is the most evil, way beyond O'Kelly or Meow Meow. O'Kelly is the most evil human being I've ever seen do anything to me. That I feel he's the biggest villain in this whole thing.
Yeah, I agree. He's really a horrific human being. Yeah, so the interrogation of Michael O'Kelly, that would be of May 12th of 2006. I was also provided with supplemental police records, Wisconsin DOJ criminal investigation reports, Calumet County Sheriff's Department records. I was provided with trial transcripts. I was provided with news stories, media stories of the Hallbach murder, report by Joseph Buckley of the Reed and Associates, copy report of Lawrence White, Professor Lawrence White, by Dr. Gordon. Addition to the news stories, the broadcast you have cited in your affidavit. In this case, did we send you additional news media accounts from television news in the case? I believe we did. Okay, I'm going to focus specifically on the interrogation beginning February 27th. So we've been at it for an hour, so we're going to stop here. So now that we've gotten through all the technical definitions of things and all this stuff, then now next video we're going to hit the ends of everything.
Sounds good to me.
That sound good, class?
It does.
Yes,
Thank you, Thanks everybody for being here. No, that's okay.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
All right, I want to wish everybody a blessed day. Today is a lot for our friends across the pond and for us Americans. So everybody, please just hug your loved ones, count your small blessings because they'll add up to something big. And I love y'all.
We love you, Linda. And is there anything anybody wants to add or plug in or anything?
Just my Wednesday thing.
We have open mic tonight with Foul Play. We're going to be going over some new foyers that Jack got. And that's 11 p.m. UK time tonight. And I think it's 5 p.m. Eastern America time. So that'll be on tonight.
Sweet. Yeah. I'll be working tonight. And but I'll definitely try to pop in the chat. And then Linda's got a think tank going on this Wednesday. What time, Linda?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock your time?
1 o'clock Central.
10, 11, 12. Okay, so I should be done with my Wednesday catch up.
Yeah, stop on over. Talking about ways to help them.
Yeah. And I was actually, while some of you guys were talking, I was filling out postcards to send to Uyghur. Because I have some thoughts.
Uyghur? Yeah, he should look at that.
So if anybody wants a postcard to do the same.
I'm going to get his address. Why don't you put it in a DM for me so I can send some of them postcards out to Uyghur. I'd love to.
Yeah. I wrote, you lied to Brendan Dassey and purposely sent an innocent kid to prison for life. If it was your son, you'd want something done. You can still help free Brendan Dassey. So
yeah, and I would just like to say again, thank you very much for your condolences and your kind words and your sympathies to us here in the UK. And I would just like to say that to yourselves, because I know today is the anniversary of 9/11. Which was a horrible, horrible thing for your country. And I send my sympathies and condolences to all family and services and things like that for 9/11.
Thank you very much. And same for your loss, and your country is very great. It is really great. And I, as an American, feel it for you. I do.
Yeah. you know, it's been a really hard week, I feel like, for everybody and everywhere.
Yeah, my
I think
emotions are
I just
I
yeah,
mean,
so
I cry at the drop of a hat right today. It's just my
I'm sorry,
emotions are
Linda.
everywhere.
I can give you a hug, I would.
Well, I'll take the air hug through the world. I feel it.
Hey, TTM fangirl.
Hey,
So
TTM.
yeah, let's pick a date, Rhonda. Pick a date and we'll do that. Let's make sure though it's like a 2-week ahead of us date. Maybe we can start. Maybe we could pick what's coming up is Brendan's birthday.
Yeah.
We can maybe start sending more postcards around that time.
And say, wish Brendan happy birthday. You put him in jail. He gets no cake. You assholes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I could really say some bad things today, so I'll just that's why I've been quiet.
Yeah, Maggie, I have given postcards to Pete and Barb, and they have sent them. They just aren't really. They just don't usually like to talk about it.
Thank you, Carrie, for the air kisses. I feel them.
But yeah, so we'll take a. I know there's a bunch of stuff coming up, happy stuff that we're going to be doing for Brendan coming up. So
and Maz, it was really great to see you. Haven't seen you in a very long time. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you everybody on this hard day. Everybody, please, take care of yourselves. Do some self-love.
Somebody.
Yeah, do something kind for Brendan in Brendan's name. Hug your family.
Yep.
Be kind to everybody you see today. We're all together and we're all going to make it through this together. So
good words, Becca.
Yeah. All right. Love you all.
Love you all.
Have a great day.
The rules that Governor Evers has issued say nothing about restricting his ability to issue commutations. A commutation is the shortening of a sentence, and so that's one option on the table still for Brendan Dassey. And as for his rules regarding pardons, those rules say nothing about the case of someone who is actually innocent, like Brendan Dassey. When you have an innocent person sentenced to life behind prison, that's exactly the situation that the clemency power was tailor-made to address. This is a case that federal judges have called a profound miscarriage of justice, and we're calling on Governor Evers to remedy that injustice today.
He's pardoning all the wrong people. He says, doesn't he see me?
We're going to make him keep seeing them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I hear you.